Are we back? That's so weird. Stream just completely died. And then wouldn't come back. Huh. Well, welcome everybody again. Thank you, Silver Vang Rose, for getting first, and hello everybody. The funny thing was, I couldn't actually chat because I couldn't open the stream. It wouldn't let me do so on the stream manager through the app. So weird. Anyways, lovelies, I think I got a little sick yesterday from eating too much cake and ice cream for Jean Day. And now I'm kind of dealing with an upset stomach. But it should be alright. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody slept alright, or is going to sleep, or is having a lovely afternoon. So first, thank you, Silver Vang Rose, for getting first the first time. M for getting second the first time. And thank you, M, for getting third the first time. And now, M, thank you for getting first. Lullaby, thank you for getting third. And Silver Vang Rose, thank you for getting second. Unfortunately, that means that we're going to have to sit through another ad. So, yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is. You know how Naptime's boyfriend was all like, Gene, you should do the Dark Souls with the working out. I should have done that with Minecraft, with how often I've died in it. You also may see a bunch of new faces here today, and also, hi Toki, lovely to meet you. How are you doing today? Welcome to the stream and welcome to the menagerie. He does bodybuilding stuff? Well, maybe he can make me fit then. Really, Scarecrow, is this about being put in prison? Tell me, what bone do you have to pick with me? Sweetie. Good morning, Grimlock. Of course you have. Of course you have, silly. Oh, the Big Mac is horrible. It is the worst burger. It is an awful, awful sandwich. Why do you like it? You wouldn't happen to like it, would you? No. No. But silly, I hope you enjoy. I mean, my stream did immediately crash the second I started, so I think I'm living up to that boy failure title. Was put in the cage now, and I'm here, as you should be, Shay. As you should be. But listen, we'll talk about the Big Mac. First off, 2 all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun is wrong. That is the phrase used for the Big Mac, and it's wrong. It doesn't even mention the layer of bread in there. And that extra layer of bread takes what could have been an amazing double cheeseburger and splits it into a sandwich. Just 2 normal single stack burgers. The meat is also tiny. They have larger meat. They could have taken it from the quarter pounder, but no. They had to go with this tiny, tiny little piece of meat. They overdid the vegetables. The sauce is now too much because they have to double it for the breads. The proportions are just so awful. Anything else on the burger would have been fine. The bread is fine, but that one little bread layer immediately takes an okay sandwich. It makes it one of the worst I know. You did. You all walked into the jail cell on accident. But don't worry. I'll make sure that you get to stay in the jail cell. In the evenings, we re-lock you up again. Not in the mornings, though, because the door makes too much noise. And we wouldn't want that, would we? Exactly. Okay, see, this is why you're one of my favorites now. And I'll give you cozy blankets, don't worry. We also have a cozy room. I can show you the cozy room. It's not all prison cells here. Here, give me a second. See, I can do cozy too. That's not too bad, is it? So you see, if you're behaved, you get a space like this. Instead of, a different one. I know you'd prefer this, wouldn't you? Exactly. There's another version of this room for the daytime, but we never come here during the day. You can get headpads here. Hi, Yuki. Good to see you. Too fancy. Fair enough. You prefer the cold basement? I've noticed. Bunch of weirdos is what you are. See, we do still have the jail. Dehydrated weirdos. Exactly. You all need to drink more water. And then we can swap out the lighting a little bit. And I can go to my favorite one right now. Where is it? Cinematic teal. I like it, makes my eyes pop. Powdered Celsius. Hi, Rumi, thank you for the check-in. What do you mean, powdered Celsius? Is that a thing? Like the drink? I do think it's funny, though, that I can just sit here, talk to you all I want, and then y'all forget I have this. Water. This is where you stay. In the water. A little tea's okay, but it can't be the only thing you drink. Come on. Fine, I think we have blankets in here somewhere. Let me see if I can find them. We have Cane's, Burger, Brahms. There they are. Blankets. Here. You can have a blanket, okay? No eating people. Oh, I have a lot of things. We have pizza. We have, that's a random scene. That's a different thing. Don't worry about what that is. That's a secret. We have a table. ice cream. We have this, we have this, we have this, and this, and this, and this, and this. For what I want you to celebrate. I have to feed all of you sometimes. Right. Not today, though. Today you're drinking water. Okay? Good. Enjoy making your food, and please make me some too. Something for my tummy. My tummy's not doing well. Sad. Alright. There we are. Oh, I forgot. I installed these in every room. Just in case I needed to, take care of some things. It's fine. It's fine. You need to be drinking at least 2 liters of water a day. It should be 3. But 2 liters is okay. 2 liters I will accept. But it should be 3. Anyways, lovelies, we're going to be doing some soft-spoken hardcore mind. Thank you for the headbands. Soft-spoken hardcore Minecraft, as we do. One of my favorite games to play. Mm-hmm. 2 liters, minimum. We are still in the village. Actually, I burned the entire village down and died. That is a lie. I just wanted to upset Carmia again. No. Why would you choose that voice, Volva? I hate that voice. That's so annoying, but I only have to do it for 1 minute, I guess. Alright. We'll do this 1 minute of the whiny voice. And then we'll play some Minecraft, okay? You want an Irish coffee? I would also like an Irish coffee. I lost my Minecraft already. I don't know where it went. I had to remove the nerdy voice because I can't do it in the morning. And that one is too loud and rambunctious. This voice. This one I can still do. Is it ironic or not that the one world that is surviving is the one I named Dog for some reason? Very adorable. No, I don't like... Why do you bully me? It's not fair. Just do this voice all the time? No. I don't think I could keep it up all the time, honestly. And I gotta stop this voice now. There we go. Back to normal. I do some minor voice acting. Lovelies. It takes at least 5 minutes to come back. Can you tell us a bedtime story? If you want it again, you have to redeem it again. Oh, I forgot about the Gene Day decorations. I gotta put the decorations away. Give me a second. I do think it's funny, though. I have birthday decorations now we can just put up. What is that? I forgot about the cage. I forgot about the gauge. We're just gonna hide that. Don't worry about it. Oh, sorry, it's not gonna work this morning. I apologize. I will refund you. I just couldn't find that one. But yes, I will refund you later, promise. What's my stream schedule like? I stream every day from 3:30 a.m. MST. Actually, you know what? I think it should be. There it is. Look at you, Carmia. Dankeschön, meine Liebe. Vielen Dank. Your internet broke too. This is why you need to stop getting on my internet. If you weren't stealing my internet, you wouldn't have dropped the connection. But I know you're living in my walls right now, so I get it. Ja, hallo meine Liebe, wie geht's? Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen. Nicht so gut, aber wann ich will. Alright, sweeties, please let me know if the music is too loud or anything. If people could go through their phone to cuddle, I'd be worried. Ja. Sprachst du Deutsch? Oder magst du Deutsch? Oh, redeems. Thank you for the sniffer. Thank you for the check-in, and thank you for the hydrate. But good morning, Vanya. How you doing? I do non-traditional. There's a sniffing redeem where people would like me to sniff. Because apparently people enjoy that sound. But yes, I do soft-spoken gaming. For my ASMR, where the focus is just keeping things calm, relaxed, and chill. I don't do the sound triggers or anything like that. It's more for people who enjoy having something on in the background. And you are stinky, it's true, chat. So very, very stinky. Stinky chat. The stinkiest. Maybe it's a good stinky. Well, it's one of you. You have to pick which one of you is the stinky. Watermelon. I could go for watermelon. I'm normally not a fan. But today is a good day for watermelon. Exactly. That's fair. I guess I can't expect you to smell good if I don't coat you with water every once in a while. That's crazy. Y'all have been bathing in water but not drinking water. Oh, yeah? Well, you should. Showering's good for you. I don't know what that is. Fine, I'll install a shower. I'll install a shower. I do think it's going to be funny because I could actually do that. Have a redeem that just makes it pour off down water. No. I do wish the dogs would stop running in front of me while I'm trying to mine. There needs to be a toggle that makes them like step 5 feet away from me. Hello, hello, shiny whatever. Oh, I love Chamoy. Okay. Don't mine at night. Got it. I'm gonna mine only at night from now on, chat. Only nighttime mining from now on. In fact, I'm not even gonna have a pickaxe until nighttime. I hydrate your dream, except it's for, chat. That's a good idea. I refuse to understand your, reference. If I don't understand your reference, it doesn't exist. Mining away. I don't know once. Honestly, I think it might be the cake and the ice cream. I may have possibly drank some ice cream after stream. I also woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't sleep. I got enough sleep, I suppose. I'm not silly. You're silly. Fight me, IRL 1v1. Let's go. Pepto would be lovely. Unfortunately, I don't have any right now. Me too, honey. Oh, honeydew, I'm sorry you missed out on last night's stream. You should sleep. You should. Give me a hug? I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to a fight. Who said it was my last stream? Oh, I forgot. I didn't change my stream streak today, did I? Welcome to day 107. You've got wet gloves on. You're fine. You did spell, I blame you. I'm kidding, you didn't do anything. Hello, Kimizu. You totally didn't die in, Cult of the Lamb. I don't know what you're talking about. Streaming every day forever. My tummy hurts. Streaming every day forever until I get bored of it, I guess. I could always use hugs. Hugs are nice. I will not get bored of streaming. It's my one unique consistency. It's your house. It's infected with disease. You heard what I already know. I love you means you're never, ever, ever getting rid of me. Beautiful Maria, you know I am much purer than all the other licentious crown. So tell me, Maria, why I see you standing there. You would be surprised the amount of people who asked for pets in the basement. I see her. Oh, can we get cats in Minecraft? Yeah, sure, eventually we will. If I find them. Sorry, I'm so focused on maintaining my basement. I have the next TikTok planned if this one does well. Which it's at 5,000 in less than 12 hours, so it's pretty solid. Proud of you, Grimlock. Hey chat, hydrate. I'm such a good doggy. There we go. Sorry I missed that redeem earlier. Yeah, head pet. Just for you. Yeah, but this time I have dogs. Da 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 da. We're not stabbing him. I keep thinking this is a broken glass bottle. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 ciao. You didn't have to offer your hand since I said a magic command you did. Ignite my circuits, start a flame. Hi Grimlock, what's up? Well. Dip and done erase me whole, 'cause I don't want to live my life alone. Well, been waiting for you. I don't know if I like this. I do not. We're taking it back up. He'll be fine. I believe in him. He'll be okay. I'm proud of you. I like the green. The green is doable. Carmia, would you expect any less of me? Hello, Karo. Karo. How are you doing this morning? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Karo. Garo. I do hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So if it is, it looks fun. I'm not liking the barrels. I think the barrels would look better with a different kind of floor. But we shall see. We shall see. Oh, there's quite a few holes in my ceiling. You should not go out. Outside is awful. Do not go out. Thank you for the alert, Mizuki. I'm super focused on trying to build a house right now. Doug, why are you looking at me like this? Why is today not your day? What's going on, sweetie? It's a good idea. Take an entire blanket and go outside. I believe in you. You got this. Oh, the hiccups. I'm sorry. Well, it could be worse. Hiccups are awful, I agree. You have a funny story. Tell me about it. Did you drink your water too quickly? Oh. For you, yes, definitely. That's that's kind of funny. I think it's funny you came out with hiccups. Thank you for the follow, Spy Kids. Oh, I love that movie. Spy Kids was such a good movie. All of the Spy Kids movies were great. There's so much. Why were there so many chickens back there? Very hot as adults? I believe it. I definitely believe it. Yeah, I've seen a lot of movies. I don't watch a lot of the popular movies. Cora. Honestly, not surprising. Not surprising at all. Look at all damn champions. Go back to sleep then. I wish I could feed the dogs watermelon. Make my life so much easier. You know? La na 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 na. My, there's one of you's eaten enough. I want this chip. Hooked on American Wizard. What is American Wizard? Tell me about it. What's American Wizard? Wizard. American Wisdom. No, I sleep here now. Good boy. I guess we did say they're all girls, didn't we? Fun. Is he good at wizarding? Or is he more of an army? Why do you all want in my house? What is going on here? Okay. I'm not tall enough. That's a first for me. Chat, is this what you feel like every day? Just not being tall enough? Must be awful. I can't believe you have to go through that every single day. How do you do it? How do you manage to go on? Na 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 na. I'm just messing with you. Oh, you think we're the minions? That makes sense. I'm planning on making a D&D video one of these days. Just takes so much time and effort. Honestly, though, I mean, if it's on you, isn't it just a normal sized blow? Because again, I'm short. I try to do a low blow on you, but I'm not sure we'll get there. Magus Dumpus and Trench Broom? Oh, what is Trench Broom? That one sounds silly. Whatever it is, I love it. Sorry, no inches for you. I'm keeping all my own inches. I need all of them. I need all my inches so I can put things up on high shelves so you can't reach them. Oh, did you want tea? Sorry. Cups are on the high shelf. If you want, you'll have to drink out of your hands. And take your Nico kneecaps. No, I'm 6'4". Oh, no, I put food in the basement. It's just all on the shelf above you so you can't reach it. Because I thought it'd be funny. And I was right. No, honey, they're talking about something else. Who's going to be the base of the pyramid? Don't worry about it, honey. You're not getting food anyways. I like bamboo. I like organic renewable resources. I also like seaweed. Oh, got you, because you sweep through them. Understood. Look at me watching my health go down. As I don't pay attention to my air. Valid. Who wants fish? Fish, there you go. Fish. Ooh, there goes my brain. Help. Brain gone. Did they just have a baby? Are they about to have a baby? Oh, no, they're not. I was worried there for a second. Brain gone home. Am home. Uh-oh. 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 That thing was scary. Mm. Can y'all stop sleeping in my room? What the heck? Go get some sleep. Valid, valid. I live here. You don't live here. Why are you here? Welcome back. Yes, you should sleep for 1 whole week. I wonder what this looks like. That'll do. That'll do nicely. What? I'll put you to bed. Go to bed. Yes. Yes, that I enjoy. I like that. I can work with that. Tell me upset. So no, I'm not doing all right. Yeah. Sounds about right. I'm glad you're in bed. Oh, maybe. Could have, could have. You catch me when you're in bed. You're pretty mobile in bed then if you're able to catch me that easily. That's not gonna work, is it? I know what you mean. No, really. I mean, be careful. You should back a few inches off of it if you're going to be choking like that. The water. The water. Don't look at me like that. Thank you. I'm working on it. I'll be cute when we're done with it. We'll get there eventually. No, you cannot. I don't know what I'm going to do with these. Should we just give somebody tryptophobia and just make it all like this? Wait, I almost like that. Huh. Okay, what does it look like if I peel it? Thank you for the headpats. Yeah. What else can I make out of bamboo? Right. 1 second. Hello, Ice Knight. Why can't I eeps yet? Oh, it's just the cloud. Alright. What just died? Did one of my dogs die? No, they're all here. Okay, also we're taking these off because the villagers keep trying to land on them to survive. I don't know why the villagers are insane. This is plain old hardcore vanilla Minecraft. Don't worry, I'll make a basement for them eventually. Huh? Why are you here? Where did you come from? I haven't had a chance. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry, chat. Some of them going to my house. I think that's funny. Come on. Where are you going? Where are you going? I don't think any of them know where they're going. Hi, small bean. How you doing? Get out of my bed every time. You know what? You're right. I think I need to start building beds for them. I can corral them a little bit easier. I'm glad they're all still alive. But they're insane. But I can just get 2 of them in the same house, and I don't need to worry about it. Oh, nice. I hope your move goes well. Get in the house. There's 1. You get in the house. Get in the house. Get in the house. Come on. Stay in your house. Come on. Come on. Come on. House. 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 Come on. House. Dogs, you're blocked. Okay. House. 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 Oh, well, at least there's 1 of you. Sir. House, go. Run from me. Run. Run like the nerd I know you are. Where? I'm going insane. Why would you not go to the place you can close the door? Why would you? Alright, if I can find 1 more, then I'll be happy. Just 1 of you go in a house somewhere. Enjoy living in a house. There's 1 of you in here. That is an idea. Yay, car ride. I love car rides. Lovely little voidlings. I might need to end stream in just a little bit. My heartburn has gotten a little bit worse. It's true, I do like sticking my head out car windows. I do, in fact, like sticking my head out car windows. You're right about that. Different dog. Oh, not a dog. is it? We've going for about an hour. I think I'm gonna call stream here today, chat. Yeah, I'm gonna go see if I can find some meds or something. Maybe lay it down a little bit longer before work. I do appreciate you all coming by and hanging out, though. Genuinely. You are all of you, the best. Enjoy your cage. Yeah, let me find something to write out, too. Thank you. Hoshi, sweet. Y'all say hi to Hoshi for me, okay? Thank you. We're gonna do a little upset tummy raid. Thank you all for coming by. I really do appreciate you. Go say hi to Hoshi for me, okay? I'll be back here tonight, and I'll be feeling all better for you. Bye for now.